mean. I finished Saints Row last night, and I thought, well, you know, now I can stream some of the game without spoiling the story. If that is something you are worried about, I don't think we'll see much story stuff in here. I've got a lot of side things. I finished it. It took about 20-ish hours, and it said I'm about 41% complete. I will say that, you know, sometimes when you finish a game, it unlocks a bunch of fun stuff for you. I think Saints Row has been better about that before. This one didn't really do that. Just kind of rolls credits. It unlocks one store where everything is over $1 million. And at no point in that game have I ever held on to more than, say, $400,000 at a time, because I was always trying to buy car upgrades and weapon upgrades just to see what they did, only to discover that they didn't really do that much. Anyway, of course, you know, I already talked about a lot of Saints Row on the podcast yesterday, and I hadn't finished the game yet, so I was like, oh, you know, maybe, but no, it doesn't really go anywhere. It's a very buggy game and a very standard open world crime action game. I'm gonna get it launched here so we can get into it. Is there a dubstep gun? No, there is not a lot of fun in Saints Row of that nature, in terms of just like, look at this fun thing we did, look at this weird I have a couple of strange weapons, I guess I would say. Some strange weapons, but they sort of, Bryn's asking, they sort of reset down to a Saints Row 2 level of weirdness, not 3 or 4, right? Like, yeah, kind of, but it's not even, yeah, I guess so, but I don't even know that it really gets that weird. I don't know. It's the thing. So I've been devoting a lot of mind energy. A lot of my brain structure, if you will, has been devoted to thinking about Saints Row these past few days, because there's a part of me that's just like, why is it like, why is it not better? Why is it not more? Why is it so standard in its structure and gameplay? Why is it telling me about new upgrades that are available at level 15 when I am now, I think, level 17? Why does it display this new upgrades thing twice every time I launch the game? These are the questions. But like, it's there are attempts at comedy, and I think there are a couple of things that work pretty well, and a couple of things that you go like, oh, geez, this isn't this is not a full-fledged joke. Like, you have come up with like the appearance of comedy without actual comedy. In some situations. Let's go shoot some people. We'll go over here. We'll shoot some people. Here's the whole map. Yeah. Like, why, like, it won't let me arm a gun right now because I'm technically in this safe zone of my base, which is always a little frustrating. Let's go look at the cars that I have acquired. And I got to thinking, I want my biggest thing with this game is, as a fan of the last couple of Saints Row games, I'm aware that it should not be just another one of those, and I'm aware that you kind of can't keep trying to top that in terms of ridiculousness. You have to find a way back down. But I think I wanted them to find a new direction, find some new excitement, and find some good weird ways to go. And this game itself just feels very... The structure of the game, all that other stuff is extremely plain. And it has like a whiff of the type of material you would expect out of a Saints Row game, where it's like, yeah, you can do insurance fraud. It's got some silly vehicles that I've unlocked over the course of the story, and you know, there's like hey, you get a tank and a hover bike, and you know, like there's all of it just feels very kind of by the numbers to me, and that's probably my biggest problem with it. Like the bugs, okay, like you know, people are like, oh, it's very buggy, it's and yes it is. Yes, I had multiple cases where missions just stopped working and I had to restart the game to I had to, you know, quit and relaunch the game. I couldn't even restart a checkpoint. And you know, that stuff will probably get fixed. Like, let's assume that stuff is going to get fixed because they'll patch it. They'll the things about it that don't work well, they will make it work well, right? Like it'll run fine. Let's assume. The biggest problem with the game, though, is, you know, just simple stuff, simple gameplay stuff where, like, the act of firing a lot of these guns doesn't feel good, is not fun. Like, the bare bones basics of this game, most of that is not super exciting. Here's a collectible. You can customize your fort with stuff. You have to just take pictures of it to get it. Like, there are just parts of this game that are not... Here's an interesting thing with the shooting. If there's like an object in the environment you can shoot that'll blow up, it'll just highlight it like that, and you can just do that. Which is an interesting idea for just, like, shooting explosives if they're near someone. I don't have any specials. I don't have any special pips saved up, so I can't do the thing that knocks these idiots out of their weird stick spinny thing. This is the most frustrating enemy in the game right here, actually. The idol with the spinny sticks that blocks bullets is actually the most frustrating thing. We have to do one of these. This will recover some health.
Can't stop the collective.
I think a lot of the guns don't feel like they hit hard.
I'm so good, I surprised myself.
These bullet spongy enemies are really frustrating. It giving me tips from the first hour of the game, even though I've finished the game, is pretty good. We'll do this punch. Oh, I don't... There's supposed to be fire on my fist when I punch there. It didn't show up there for some reason. But that is supposed to be a flaming punch. All right, we've cleared out this area, and now we will make more money per hour in this area because we did that thing. There's... When you set up a side business, 5 little mini missions like this show up, and... Oh, apparently the cops are unhappy as well. Well, now they're extra unhappy, I suppose. Hi. I have my own police car. I don't need theirs. The aiming doesn't feel great. You have some options there about how you can configure that if you want it to snap to target a lot more dramatically. You can actually do that. I think probably the system I appreciate the most is the driving. And so the A button just drifts, and so we hold down A and we go around corners. Even at slow speeds, we get these really slow drifts, and so you have a lot of pretty good control when it comes to, like, successfully whipping around corners without losing control of the car, if that makes sense. You know, you can kind of tap the brake to get an extra little kick out. But like that aspect of the game, I think, is really well done. That's something that, like, making corners in these games is oftentimes dicey. You know, you're turning at the last minute. You're doing things in these types of games, and so I think this drifting mechanic is well done. That is perhaps the most positive thing I would say about the game.
I have so many bonus miles right now.
This is probably the police van. It is. We will throw a grenade. And that'll give us 3 stars of notoriety. Let's try driving. Cops, cops, cops. So I've unlocked this vehicle's special ability, which is the Spy Hunter kneecappers here. And I haven't actually used them yet. I haven't had an opportunity to use them. Seems like they just blow up cars. Okay. Well, problem solved. Is the city interesting to be in, you ask? Not especially. I'll say that, you know, there's a lot of cases where you are taking the same roads because there's... So I built some of my... You choose where you build your side businesses, you know, the insurance fraud and all that other stuff. And so as you build stuff over in this part of town and your main base is always here, you are driving up and over this bridge over and over again. Like sometimes you are teleporting, you are going back here to start a mission. And like the mission is like, meet me at the church. And then you meet them at the church. And they say, we got to drive over here. And you're like, shit, now I got to drive all the way back over here again. There's just a lot of cases like that where you're just like this main road over to this bridge and out again. You're on that over and over again. And that's not great. Here's a little side thing where I think we have to find... Yeah, I did one of these.
Get out my phone for this.
Welcome to Meeker Square. To learn more about the miracles of El Santo Ileso, visit St. Thomas Corvacho and the Padre Salazar Community Center in Rancho Providencia. Listen to every panel at both sites to win a prize.
So now we need to run around this circle and look for more of those panels where we can hear some history.
Yo, I'm getting good at this. Please help me to not kill somebody today.
This isn't a game.
I don't
Is this the
think
one we
so.
already...
Welcome
No,
to
this is the same
Meeker
one.
Square.
We just ran around in a circle.
The miracles of El Santo Ileso. Visit St. Thomas
Okay, well, there's not a lot of...
Salazar.
The other one of these I did, there was like obvious little exhibits set up. Maybe this tent out here is one. Nope.
I'll be at my niece's quinceañera.
I tried to make my guy look as much like the guy I made in Saints Row 3 and 4, which I thought would be fun. And also because the like boss, they put out that character creator where you could make your own character ahead of time. And so far, pre-release that didn't work at all. And then yesterday I tried it out and it also didn't work. So I was like, maybe I'll start playing as The Rock, but that didn't seem to work. All right, we're not going to do this now. I'm tired of running around in a circle and looking. Oh, wait, is there stuff out here? Yeah, here it is.
Did I forget deodorant again?
We needed someone to handle those
Did you know the story of Jedediah Meeker inspired novels, popular songs, and an early hit Broadway musical? Nearby Meeker City, incorporated in 1883, is named for the famed explorer.
Great. You know, I could run around this little circle on the map and try to find 3 more of those, but you know, maybe we should just go do something else.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Is there a clean way up onto these rooftops that I can see from here? Oh, well. Let's, You can go dumpster diving. That's one of the collectibles.
Check it out.
Golden truck parts. All right. So maybe if we do enough of those, we get a vehicle or something, I guess. This is another collectible here. There are, well, it'll tell us after we collect one. These are drug packages. And we get drugs.
Surprise, surprise.
There are 125 of them around the world. I've found 23. And they're always in batches of 2 to 3. Like they decided at some point, there need to be 125 of these. And then looked at the city and said, well, the city's not that big in terms of rooftops. So why don't we just always put 2 or 3 of them around the exact same spot?
This to good use.
Which is a really strange... Which is really strange. And here's our third.
Bingo.
This is maybe the weirdest weapon I've seen in the game so far. I haven't spent too much time with it because the ammo is often so limited. But it's a football. That does that. That's neat.
Hey, shithead.
This don't
Say
concern
better
you.
stay out of our way.
I like this. Let's trounce this bozo.
Go for the flank!
That guy stopped to take a selfie in the middle of a gunfight because they're the, you know, raving internet gang, I guess. I don't know. Internet's a strong word. They don't really, it's not like a big, they have a big online presence. It's just, they are anarchists on neon motorcycles. That did no damage.
I can use my hands for this.
When that Saints logo in the bottom center is full, we can do a takedown on an unarmored enemy. It does one of these canned animations, and you recover a little bit of health when you do it. I think probably the most frustrating thing about the game is that this is the pistol you start the game with, and I find it's actually the most effective in gunfights. Because when I use the SMG and stuff like this thing just... Like, what the fuck is happening? You know, like there are cases where you'll see the bullets hit an enemy and not see damage register. It's really insane. This rifle is not much better, especially up close. The shotgun automatically fires twice, which is more frustrating than like, but you know, considering how bullet spongy the enemies are, it's actually not too bad that you're, I was hitting the takedown button and then I died in the middle of it. So, so I think like probably my biggest problem with it is, the guns, like those guns feel bad. The guns just don't feel good. The city doesn't feel alive. Yeah, there's definitely an audio design issue with some of the shooting and stuff like that. That seems like it should be just better. With the off-road kit on this car, and that looks silly. Oh, let's buy the... Okay, we'll turn on our signature ability. We need to buy nitrous for that. So, okay, we have nitrous. Let's upgrade this car again, I guess, to level 2. You know, and you can buy bumpers and stuff if that's your thing. I don't know. So this car's signature ability is that it can use nitrous in the air, which is a neat idea. I've already accepted kind of going in that this video is going to have a bunch of licensed music in it, so I don't know. Maybe this will be the only time you see this, depending on how YouTube feels about all of that licensed music. It will probably be fine, but... You know? I ain't gonna make no money off whatever. Who fucking cares? It's fucking YouTube. So this one's signature ability is that I can use that nitrous in the air, which is fun. You have really a lot of really good air control over the cars, which is fun too. And the idea that you can kind of Rocket League this car around after you unlock the ability to use nitrous in the air is neat. That's neat. It's not useful in the context of the video game you are playing and all that sort of stuff, but it's cool that you can do it. Well, we're fucked now. Okay. Let's see. What else can we do? Let's go do some insurance fraud. So where do I do to find that? So to find, when you do these side missions, like there's, like this one is a repo agency. This one is a garage where you steal cars for them. Like, do you basically want to find their next mission? You have to, as far as I can tell, maybe there's a better way to do this that I just haven't found. You have to go find, okay, which one is this? Okay, here's the insurance fraud one. You go here, and there's this button for GPS to next venture goal. And that will turn on VPN, turn on GPS, pointing me in the direction of the next spot I'm going.
Shit. Almost out of gas.
It's a good thing you stopped.
This bike looks better on me.
Lover, not a fighter.
Okay. So we'll drive out here. We'll do insurance fraud, which seems like it was the one that everyone was like, well, it better still have insurance fraud. And I don't, it does. It totally does. I don't think that is necessarily the thing that I am like, oh, it's got to have that. Like, that stuff's really cool and fun.
That's going too far.
But that's another case where it's like, you could have new fun. And I don't know that they've necessarily found any new fun. And so I guess to get back to my point here, 20 minutes later, are they going into this game under the assumption that a lot of players just haven't played a game like this? You know what I mean? And so they're like, well, it's not like anyone else is out there making Grand Theft Auto style games, so we can make one, and that's enough. And so did they think that maybe it didn't need to be dramatically different, or all that other stuff? I see people in chat talking about music, like that bike just didn't have the radio on, and I didn't turn it on. You can, eventually you get this playlist app, which sometimes doesn't work. It seems like it's working this time. Okay. And you can go and turn on all your music and whatever here if you want to do it that way.
You know what I mean? It's getting ready to go down. Funk Master Flex Tunnel Stale. Shout to Big Cat Cypher Sounds. Andy up in the fucking background. For the real niggas, you know what I mean? Shout to
So the
Long Island, Staten Island, Uptown, Hollywood, the BX. All my real niggas with the 20 inches outside.
a lot of the songs on the radio seem and again, I think someone in chat picked up on this, that this game seems like it is, yes, Ectoplasma saying, okay, this is another game targeted at 30-plus-year-olds. That's maybe the weirdest thing about it, is like, it's trying to tell a younger story in terms of like your roommates and you're starting a new thing, but it almost feels like mocking of their vibe, if you will. And the dialogue does not feel like it is written super young. It like if you're like, oh, a Gen Z, like I know some people were like all being super shitty, like, oh, they made woke Saints Row, blah blah blah, which is like insane because like what were the other Saints Row games if not extremely multicultural in a world where a lot of gang games are very like, this is the Mexican gang, this is the like the Saints were always very deliberately a multicultural gang. Like it's always been this. It's different characters and they're younger. That's the difference is, you know, and when it comes to that aspect of the game, I think my problems with it are like, that's not the issue. The issue is like, they didn't come up with a very funny game. They didn't come up with very funny writing. And I started thinking about it like, oh, is this something that's like, am I just too old for that? And they're trying to make like a younger game, but like the dialogue isn't written that way. Like there are things that just, it doesn't feel like it's doing that either. It's very strange.
Shady Oaks, Tamira speaking.
You ready with the paperwork? I'm about to have an accident. Oh.
You know, and if your problem with the game is like, I can't believe they made them roommates who were nice to each other, it's like that. I don't know what you're protesting there. You're a fucking weirdo at that point. Okay. So we want to combo off as many cars as possible. Oops. I always, for some reason, when I get into this state of like, because you hit right trigger to fall over, and I get in this mode of like, I'm gonna hit right trigger to to get up and drive fast, even though I'm not in a car. Okay. So basically, we're just trying to fill this adrenaline meter, and then that's when, you know, it gets a little weirder. This is a weird jam up here. And very good for us as soon as we hit adrenaline mode, because cars start just blowing up when you touch them at that point. But yeah, I think the thing is they needed to come up with like some good new material, and I just don't think they did. You know, on the writing side of things, it doesn't, like, it just feels very plain. This is quite a multiplier. This is the highest one of these I have ever had, I'll say. Apparently the highest you can get. All right. All right, we have done so much adrenaline that we have, well, we finished the level in one combo. Okay. So a lot of the progression is locked behind you finishing a lot of these side missions, especially now that I've finished the game. That's kind of what's left. You kind of raise the tier on your criminal empire by building criminal ventures and then completing the ventures, which means in the case of an insurance fraud, to complete the insurance fraud, I have to do, how many? 7. That's a pretty low number. This this one is you find trucks full of toxic waste and then very carefully drive them back to this location on the map. and there's 14 of them, and the whole mission is like, don't crash. And so you're driving really slow and finding all these trucks and driving them very slowly, and that's not fun. And there's 14 of them, and you know, it's a lot of very standard kind of side quest stuff. Like the trappings around them are different, where it's like, oh, we're stealing food trucks because we're selling drugs out of the food trucks, and you're like, ah, yes, gangster. But at the end of the day, it's just, you are gonna steal a car. You were gonna go somewhere, shoot a bunch of people, get in a specific car, drive said car back to a location, and then it's gonna cash it in. And so it's just a lot of like that mission design over and over again with a lot of different wrappings around it. And
I don't want to hurt you.
You know, that stuff to me gets very old. Are there any escort side quests? I have not seen any. I have not seen escort stuff per se. There's definitely like, you have someone with you, and if they go down, you need to pick them up. But there isn't like, hey, here's an idiot NPC character that it is impossible to keep safe, and you need to try to keep them safe. Like, I have not encountered any of that, thankfully.
So that's Sammy, huh?
Oh, hey, boss. Where's Kev?
Busy. What do you got for me?
Sammy runs the northeast part of town. Alta Vista, Marina. They sell club drugs mostly. High-end synthetics.
How's security?
Should have brought Kev.
Nah, I can handle this. You better go. This is gonna be fun.
This is gonna be fun, I'm told. Hi. For some reason, the mission indicator in the upper left telling me what I need to do is not appearing, but I'm pretty sure I just need to clear these people out and then take the car. That's what it was last time. But last time it also said in the upper left, like, clear these fools out, you know, and... Did this break? Did this mission break? Or do I need to just shoot people for a while before it highlights the car?
Knocking them down.
So that, like, a lot of the comedy comes from like, or I guess the juxtaposition, not a lot of the comedy per se, but you know, the nature of this game is that you and your roommates are really good friends and you're really tight and you started the Saints together. And so there's a little bit of like, you're cozy with them. And so it's like moments of, oh man, yeah, I really want to get this waffle iron. And then, oh yeah, we killed all these people. Let's go check out, you know, what kind of food this restaurant has next time we're here. You know, like that's kind of the, they go to that a few times over the course of the game. And it's, I don't think it works very well. It's, or they don't, this game does not go far enough with anything. It does. There is no aspect of it that goes far enough, let alone too far, I guess is what I would say.
God damn! You know what that means? We've got Monte Vista and Marina del Lago.
Are you invincible during the finishers? Yeah, pretty sure you are. And so it has a couple of set piece missions that are just like, now we're doing the big heist robbery, but like those missions are just longer versions of drive here, shoot this, you know, like every mission in the game is shoot this stuff or drive this thing, get this vehicle to a place, blow this up, you know, like there's not a lot of variety. And so the longer missions are almost worse right now because the game is so buggy that like you're always worried, and this happened to me in one of the big heist missions, is like, oh, the scripting broke and I'm now stuck in this mission, and then as soon as I hit restart from checkpoint, the game just locks up. And so now I need to like Alt F4 it. This is the PC version, by the way. And and start that entire mission over again. And so the longer the mission is, the more frustrating that is. I had a couple of moments with it where I was like, I'm done playing for the night. I don't want to do this mission again. Fuck this. Like it's I just put too much time into getting this thing right for it to lock up on me, and I just don't want to do this anymore. And you know, that's my big problem with it. You know, it's a shame. I was really hopeful. You know, oh wait, I'm not going through the tunnel. I mean, I could, right? I don't know, maybe not. It's like showing me the mini map is saying turn left, but the arrows on the road were saying go straight. That's really cool. Are there any references to the other Saints games? I mean, this is meant as a reboot, right? So it's not. This isn't a world where the Saints exist. This is a world where they come up with the name the Saints themselves. There is a reference to Stillwater that I heard on the radio. And when you are finding your church, when you're like, oh, I know a good place where we can start a gang, it's this church. There's like a one throwaway line of dialogue where they're like, where's that? What is that? And they're like, oh, it's over on 3rd Street. I'm like, oh, okay. Like that's a fun little thing. But no, this is not a, this doesn't seem like it takes place anywhere in the same world as those other Saints games. So no Johnny Gat. Yes, that's good. Johnny Gat is the worst character they have ever conceived. Johnny Gat is a fucking awful. There's no need for Johnny Gat. In fact, like you could almost say the story of this game is sort of a thing recognizing that you don't need two versions of the player character around. I won't get into too much more detail for that in case you're sensitive about spoilers. I don't know. It's like I don't think the game is very good, so it's tempting to just talk about it as openly as possible. But there is sort of an aspect of this game that is touching on the idea of like you don't need two of this guy around, and that's what Johnny Gat was in those games. It was like the boss is supposed to be the crazy motherfucker doing stuff. You, the player, are doing the crazy shit. And so when they're like, Johnny Gat's here and he's fucking out of his mind, it's like, no, he sucks. He sucks. He's an idiot. He's a fucking dumbass. He's written really poorly. Like, it was always the worst part of those games. Always. But like, you know, this game isn't really going for a lot of the same tropes that you might expect of like, oh, here's a weirdly crucial celebrity cameo. Here's a... Oh, well, that's my own guy. What am I doing? I was looking at the mini map and just shooting in that direction, but this guy's over here. This guy's over here. They're not getting out of their car for some reason.
Down for the count.
So what else is going on?
Nice. Sammy's done in this town.
So yeah, I don't know. Let's go back to the base and I'll show you the Empire table if it loads correctly. Sometimes the textures on it just don't load. But when you want to set up a new series of side missions, you have to go up here and spend a bunch of money to create it. Hey, it loaded this time. Sometimes this map just isn't here and it's just a bunch of circles on a table.
I could do this forever.
Okay, so we have these vacant lots. We can choose any one of them to build this stuff. Let's build one that's close to where we live. What do we have at our disposal? Cutting edge. So that's going to unlock new clothes. a radio station might be fun. There's potential for comedy there in building a radio station, but also an arms dealer seems like maybe you could finally get good guns. Maybe you could finally get good guns.
Person has complimented my hair today.
Unleash mayhem. Oh, so this is just like go and break a bunch of stuff. Ugh. This is a thing and this is where I start to think, like, did they build this game thinking no one builds games like this anymore, and so we can get away with building a very standard one? Because there are just styles of mission in this game that I kind of never want to do again. And there's a mission in this game where it's like, now you're in a tank, go blow shit up. And you're like, yeah, this is not the fucking peak moment that you think it is this many decades later after fucking Grand Theft Auto 3, you know? And
she was in the guard and knows all the suppliers and buyers.
so, like, yeah, is there an aspect to this where it's like they're banking on a generation having just never played any of those games, and they're like, yeah, no, when they get in the tank, they'll be like, oh my god,
We need a killer pitch.
Leave that to me.
because I got in the tank and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's one of these missions. And now it seems like there's a whole series of side missions.
Nina tells me no one can blow up shit better than
Well, maybe these aren't tank missions. But... Okay, so now that we've built that, we just need to go here and hit X to get directed to the next location. Like, you build them and you get teleported there, but you don't actually need to be here for most of these. There's the one where you need a tow truck, and so going to the actual location is handy because it's a handy way to get a tow truck.
Leave me alone. Are you kidding?
All right. Mayhem, it says.
Big one, Vicario speaking.
Hey, Sarge. Ready to make a sale?
Sure, I've got some buyers asking about our RPGs. Let's show them what we got.
All right. So I can't move. I can't move. I can't pause. Let's get that hype train going for not being able to move. Nothing says hype train like standing here. Meanwhile, in the background, someone fucking on a bike is going off, breaking the city apart.
Damn, son. Where'd you find this? We made some Molotov.
Still can't move.
We made some Molotov cocktails. We started throwing them at his dad's garage. We didn't think anything was going to happen, but it did.
Post Malone! Woo! Post Malone! Woo! Post Malone. Woo! Post Malone. Woo! Post Malone.
Thanks to Let's Play PSX for throwing out some gift subs. Accolade. All the video game companies are here today. Accolade is here. Cheering 100 bits. Thank you so much. Bubsy is a good game. That was not it. Dempsey for resubscribing. Throw up your gold rocks.
Dang.
I started throwing him at his dad's garage.
Oh, this
We didn't
fucking
think anything was
game.
gonna happen, but it did.
This fucking game. So yeah, I don't know. Like, who's this game for? It's not written in a super youngish kind of way. Like, it does not feel Gen Z and viral and all the, you know, all the horseshit terminology that people use to talk about the way the kids talk today, which would be totally fine. I would actually be all for that if they nailed just a younger fucking style of writing, you know, like really went for it in that way. I think that would be fucking awesome. If they just like really pulled that off and said, no, this is fine, you know, like we're making one of these for a younger, you know, we're trying to like make one of these that is like younger isn't even the word, modern, and not a game where like there's just one mission in the game where you and your roommate who are running around shooting people up say hells yeah over and over again. But yeah, it's game's got issues. But I guess like that the point I want to get across here is they will fix the is Hell's I know Hell's Yeah kind of came back, but even that is like a decade old now at this point. My point here is that they will fix, like, this stuff will probably get patched, right? They will fix the bugs in this game. Presumably it will get to a stage where it is just working as intended. But as someone who has finished the game, I don't think that working as intended is a particularly exciting game. You know, there's an interesting setup here. There's a chance for them to have done something different, but they kind of just don't. And they don't do enough with it. Like the premise of we're starting a new gang and we're a new group of people and they are fun in a different way. Like coming together and starting this crew, I think that is absolutely fine and works on paper. But a lot of the jokes along the way, a lot of the storyline along the way, all that other stuff just doesn't do enough with that premise, you know? And so that's my big problem with it is they'll patch the bugs, but this game is still a really confusing thing. And yeah. But I do think that all the hand-wringing pre-release about like, oh, look at these kids in the trailer. How dare they? Where's my Johnny Gat? Where's the... Like, I think those people are fucking crazy. Like, the game is not doing anything that they were afraid it was going to do. They're like, it's so bad. Go, okay, bro. Like, it's not that game. It's just not that fucking game. At all. It would be better if it was. Because that they would at least be picking a direction and going somewhere with it, you know? Instead, it's like they kind of try to do some stuff and don't really make good on it. I feel bad. You know, I wonder... Yeah, you know, this game was obviously a lot of this game was developed through the pandemic and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm sure that can't have been easy. But stuff like this, you know, there's... This game should work better than this. And it sounds like the console versions are not any better. You can't Alt F4 a console game, which is literally what I'm going to do right here. Because it's the only thing I can do. Okay. Well, Saints Row is in stores now. As I said on the podcast, I think that probably has to be it for Saints Row. You know? I don't think they can. I don't think, you know, like this is their big shot to reboot it and move it in a new direction and all that other stuff. And I'm like, cool, man. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. I was like, that's exactly what it needs. Those trailers, like, you know, are just like, hey, yeah, cool. The trailers look good. You're blowing shit up. Of course. Like, it's Saints Row. You're blowing shit up. Sure. Why not? And yeah, there's just no core to it. There's just no. Yeah, I don't know what you do after this. You make this game work and then you forget Saints Row exists for forever. I don't know. I don't think you can make a sequel to this game. But like maybe it'll go on and sell fucking gangbusters because like there's just not a lot of other stuff coming out at this size of like, so people that are only interested in like quote unquote big games, maybe they'll just fucking get it and go, this is fucking cool, man. Because they just don't play a lot of games. Like, you know, it's a game that probably suffers. The longer you have been playing games, the worse Saints Row probably is, right? I don't know. Is that a weird? I don't know. It's I don't know. Anyway, that's Saints Row.